Clear thinking begins with a difficult truth. Reality does not change to match your wishes. You may start with a preference, a hope, or a story you want to be true, but the world does not adjust itself for that. It follows its own rules. If you want to understand what is real, you have to look at what actually happens, not at what you hope will happen. The same conditions lead to the same outcomes, regardless of your opinion or mood. Thinking becomes clearer when you stop asking reality to fit your ideas and start shaping your ideas to fit reality. Reality operates independently of personal preference. Feelings can be powerful, but they are not proof. You might feel certain about an idea, calm about it, or proud of it, but those feelings do not measure what is true. They only show what is happening inside your mind. A sense of certainty can come from habit, from social pressure, or from hearing the same story again and again. Emotions influence what you notice and what you ignore. They can make certain explanations feel right simply because they match your style of thinking. Feelings tell you what you care about, but evidence tells you what is real. When you mix the two, your judgment becomes weaker. Truth depends on evidence, not emotional certainty. Belief has no special power over outcomes. You can believe something with full confidence and still be wrong when you test it. Repeating a claim does not make it true. Reality does not reward belief. It responds only to what is actually correct. An idea is not judged by how much you like it, but by what it predicts and whether those predictions match what really happens. If the predictions fail, the idea fails. Strong thinking grows when you stop using belief as protection and allow your ideas to face real checks. When an idea survives careful testing, you can trust it more. When it fails, you adjust it. Reality responds to facts, not confidence. Testing protects you from your own blind spots. Intuition feels quick and natural, but it is shaped by past experience, not necessarily by present truth. It can help, but it can also mislead. A test happens outside your head. It forces your idea to meet reality. You state what should happen, then you see what actually happens. The gap between those two is valuable. Careful testing tries to reduce bias by controlling what changes, measuring results, and repeating the process. These steps lower the chance that a mistake turns into a firm belief. If you rely only on your gut, you may keep old errors alive. If you test small claims, you learn faster and discover what you still don't know. Careful testing is more reliable than instinct. Being wrong is not a disaster. It is information. Avoiding mistakes may feel safe, but it blocks learning. When you refuse to face error, weak ideas stay in place. Progress comes from finding where your thinking does not match reality yet. A wrong prediction is useful because it shows you where your model needs work. You make a claim, test it, see where it breaks, and then repair that part. Over time, your thinking becomes more accurate. You think more clearly when you treat mistakes as steps in a process, not as a reflection of your worth. You don't have to defend every belief. You only need to improve your understanding of the world. Admitting mistakes improves understanding. Words can sound clear while meaning stays vague. You might use impressive terms and feel knowledgeable, but that feeling can be misleading. If the words do not connect to a clear idea, you do not have real understanding. You have noise. Familiar phrases can feel meaningful simply because you've heard them often, but familiarity is not the same as clarity. Thinking becomes clear when you insist on clear meaning. You define important words in simple language. You give a clear example. You remove extra parts until the claim becomes something that can be checked. If you cannot make it clear, you treat it as unfinished. Clear language exposes weak thinking. Doubt can be a useful tool. It does not have to stop action. A healthy kind of doubt protects you from fooling yourself. The mind likes simple stories and enjoys being right. It naturally pays more attention to evidence that agrees with what it already believes. To counter this, you look for information that challenges your view. You try to find the strongest argument against your position. You ask what result would prove you wrong. This kind of doubt acts like a safety system. It does not mean you believe nothing. It means you do not shield your ideas from testing. You keep the door open for correction. Questioning yourself helps your thinking stay accurate. Good reasoning follows a clear order. First come the facts, then the conclusions. It is tempting to start with a conclusion and then search for support, but that turns thinking into defense. A better approach is to gather observations, look for patterns, and build explanations that match what you find. If new evidence appears, you update your explanation. You list what you know, define what you are observing, and decide what counts as a result before drawing conclusions. Thinking improves when you treat conclusions as outputs of a process rather than possessions you must protect. When the input changes, the output can change too. Strong conclusions grow from solid evidence. Simplicity is a strength when it is honest. A complicated explanation can seem impressive, but complexity often hides weak spots. Extra parts can cover gaps and make an idea harder to test. A simpler explanation with fewer assumptions makes errors easier to see and learning easier to follow. When two explanations both fit the facts, the one with fewer assumptions is usually more useful. This is not a rule of nature, but a practical guide for clearer thinking. You improve your reasoning when you simplify your claims, remove words that add no meaning, and drop steps that add no evidence. Clear and simple explanations are more reliable. Reality gives feedback through results. You can ignore facts for a while and hold on to a story, but outcomes still follow real rules. If your model makes wrong predictions, reality will show that. If a method fails, the results will reveal it. Feedback may not be immediate, but it is consistent. Eventually, you have to choose whether to adjust your idea or keep paying the cost of being wrong. Thinking becomes more disciplined when you stop arguing with outcomes and start using them as checks on your beliefs. Results reveal the truth about ideas. Humility helps you update your thinking quickly. It does not mean low confidence. It means you do not treat your current view as final. You allow correction without letting your ego get in the way. You care more about what is true than about feeling right. This attitude keeps your thinking flexible. People who stay open to correction notice mistakes sooner and adjust faster when new evidence appears. You think more clearly when you hold ideas lightly and commit to good methods rather than fixed conclusions. You commit to evidence rather than status. That is practical humility, and it keeps your thinking aligned with reality. Clear thinking is the habit of matching your ideas to the world. It begins with accepting that reality does not shift for comfort or belief. It follows its own rules. You separate feelings from evidence. You test instead of guessing. You treat errors as useful information. You demand clear meaning from words. You use doubt to avoid fooling yourself. You put evidence before conclusions. You prefer simple explanations that fit the facts. You let results correct you, and you stay humble so you can update. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be honest and consistent, always returning to evidence and correction. Clear thinking means accepting reality as it is.